We are back. I'm your host, Steve Alls, and with me, Chef Chris Hamm. Beef Wellington is a classic culinary dish, but sometimes it can be a bit stuffy in 1970-ish. But Chris, you got a funky twist to this, don't you?
Oh yeah, this time we're going to be working it with a piece of salmon. So we're going to have salmon Wellington this
Salmon
time.
Wellington, man, that's what we're talking about right there.
Oh yeah.
Now, what is the first step that we have to do here to get this thing going?
The first step, you need to go ahead and get the duck sail working for, and that's going to be a minced array of mushrooms and shallots, but in this case I'm using a little bit of celery to add to it.
Yeah, see, you got some nice cremini mushrooms there too, huh?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Righty, well, we're going to go ahead and get this thing going.
All right.
Get a little butter action going.
And get your pan hot, put your butter in there.
Oh yeah.
And you're just going to kind of mince up these mushrooms, shallots, and celery.
Oh yeah.
And depending on how many Wellington individual ones you're making would depend on how much of this stuff you need, right?
Oh yeah.
And you can use the stems on this, can't you?
Oh yeah.
I know with when you got oyster mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, you've got a little bit of fibrous part that's not good eating.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely ruin the party right there.
And believe it or not, all mushrooms kind of have their own essence. They have their own taste to them. And these are basically baby portobello mushrooms.
Oh yeah. Add a little bit more of an earthy flavor to it.
Yes.
I got a little small cutting board, so we're going to have to cut everything just in little portions here.
And you've got some shallots here, I see.
Yes, sir.
Now, shallots are a little bit more refined flavor, aren't they, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
For an onion?
Oh, yeah. They're not as bold and powerful as just a regular yellow onion or Spanish onion. It's just, it's a little bit calmer flavor. Yeah. But it still gives you that onion flavor.
They kind of remind me of like a little garlic flavor infused into an onion is what it reminds me of a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And then our celery. Now this is kind of out of the box a little bit too, huh? The traditional duck sail doesn't really have celery, but I see where you're going with it. It's more of a fresh, vibrant taste, and I guess instead of using the salmon instead of the beef in this will really add to the whole dish.
Oh yeah. Add that extra element to the salmon.
There we go. And this has really just got to sweat, doesn't it? Just add a little salt to draw the water out. Just move it around just a little bit. It takes just a couple minutes to get done. But while that's working, what's our next step?
Our next step, we need to go ahead and get our sherry cream sauce going.
I'm going to turn that heat on for you just a little bit right there.
And I appreciate it. And what we're going to have to do first, we're going to have to get, the first part to our sauce, we're going to get a roux started.
Okay. Let me get that butter in the pan for you while you get that flour over here. Now, roux is really essentially just equal parts flour, equal parts butter by weight, right?
Oh yeah.
But we've been doing this for a while, so we just kind of put the butter in the pan, and then however much flour we think it needs, that's what we do, huh?
Yeah, that's how we get it done.
I know when you're in culinary school or you're getting trained to do this kind of stuff, they tell you to measure everything, and but that just gets a pain after a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes I think you get to that point where you can kind of, you're on your mind and you can pretty much get it to the right amount without having to measure it out.
Now the roux just really needs to cook just a little bit right to get that floured taste out of it.
Oh yeah.
And then that's when you add your cream or milk or really any other liquid that you're using. But we're using cream today because we're making what kind of sauce are we making with this?
It's a sherry cream sauce.
Sherry cream sauce. So we're making just like a straight bechamel and add some sherry to it. So we're going to put this cream in here.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we'll just tighten that up, and that actually thickens up pretty quick, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, if you have the right amount of heat on it, it'll.
It's already coming to a simmer, I believe.
Oh yeah.
So what's our last step to make this sauce, Chris?
You can hit it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then hit it with your sherry.
There you go. And really, this sauce, as long as it's thick enough to coat the back of a spoon, we're in good shape, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
There you go. So it looks like our duck sail is probably just about ready.
Oh yeah.
So what's our first step in actually making the Wellington?
Our first step, we're gonna get our puff pastry on the board, and you need to make sure that your puff pastry is nice and thawed out. So when you get to the point where you're getting ready to make your Wellington, that it's not a big deal to get your pastry on the board.
Yeah, if it's frozen, they'll break apart, and if it's too thawed out, yeah, you're going to actually have a hard time getting them separated in the different layers, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you've got a really nice piece of salmon there.
Oh, yeah. Nice piece of salmon.
Does it matter what side goes up or down on this?
You can do on this actual thing, I'm going to be doing the skin side up, but it's kind of upside down because the front part of the pastry is facing down. So
Okay.
it really depends on, what technique you're doing with, when you're using beef Wellington, the actual protein is a little bit bigger, so it's you have to, put your puff pastry around it a certain way.
And this is almost like an individual piece of Wellington, right? I know traditionally we take the big tenderloin and wrap the whole thing. You can actually do it with a whole loin of salmon too, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could do it like that also.
Okay. Now what's the next step?
We're going to add the ducktail to it.
Okay. I'll go ahead and put that on there for you so we don't have to reach over each other.
And that works.
There you go.
And you just have to make sure that you get your ducktail nice and spread out evenly across the whole fillet. And then after you get that part done,
It's just amazing right now.
oh yeah, really
I can't
good.
imagine what it's going to be like when it's fully done with the salmon.
Oh yeah. So next, you just want to try to get your puff pastry nice and trimmed up so you don't have a whole lot of excess dough.
And sometimes it seems like the seam is better in it too, right? If you don't have a lot of excess left over.
Oh yeah. Then you just flip it over. Then you're gonna trim off your edges.
Now, will this puff pastry dry out if you leave it out too long?
Yeah, if it can possibly happen, especially if it's not in its proper packaging. The air can get to it and get a little crusty.
What's our next step?
You can add, extra little, garnishment to it if you like. I can give you.
Get fancy on
I can give
style,
you
man.
a demonstration of something easy
Yeah.
and something quick you can do. In this case, I'll make a little rose with a little stem and a leaf for you. Something that's real quick and easy, and it'll add another element to the dish, and it'll wow your guests also.
Yeah, I like the individual ones better because it's totally encompassed. And sometimes if you don't cut it correctly on a Wellington, it seems like that the puff pastry tears on you. In this, it won't tear on you at all.
Oh yeah, you get a lot better presentation.
And you're just gonna roll a little piece of dough like that to kind of make a little rose, right?
Oh yeah.
That's
Just put
awesome.
it on there, and then the last step you need to do before you get it in the oven is you have to make sure you have a nice egg wash, and that'll help you get that nice brown color,
Okay.
that nice golden brown color.
And it also kind of changes the smoothness on the outside, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, gives you that nice flaky brown crust.
Now, what temperature do we cook this at?
I would typically cook it, like at least 400 degrees, and that'll help your
The
puff
pastry do what it needs to do, doesn't
cook
it?
properly and get the nice brown
Awesome.
color that you're looking for.
There you go. Big boy, just pop it up there and we'll get this in the oven.
Alrighty.
And I think we have one about done. I'm going to put this in there and then get that other one out, okay?
All right, thank you.
Then we're ready to plate up. Oh, yeah. That is nice right there.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Let me move that over there. There you go. Now, I guess to plate this thing up, what's the first step here?
Just make sure that you can get it off, and a key is to make sure that you spray your pan and make sure that, it comes off.
And that Silpat that we had on there before, that really helps too. It's made of silicone. Nothing really sticks to it. Or
not at all.
most nothing anyway. I have stuck things to that before.
Yeah, it helps out a whole lot. And next,
go.
I'm going, to give a better presentation with our plating, we're going to do a nice cross section for you.
We can let our viewers see what it kind of looks like inside when it's all done. Should see that duck cell right on the top inside of that pastry, and that nice salmon should come out there. Look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. Now, you can serve this with just about anything, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
What do you have to go along with this today?
I decided to use a nice puree of turnip and leek, and then I also have a little bit of steamed broccolini to go along with it. But we can go ahead and get our little sauce set up first. Get some of that on there.
Here you go, Chris. I got you a ladle right there for you, bud.
Thank you, sir. When you hit your plate, Nice portion of sauce on it.
So you want to really put that on the side of the plate and not over top to not help that crust on the pastry get too soggy, because you want that crispness, don't you?
Oh yeah. Want to keep that element, with this dish, because that's pretty much what gives it that Wellington look.
And then you said puree of turnips and leeks, right?
Oh yeah.
God,
Really good accompaniment. It makes it, a little bit more hearty.
And we'll have the recipe for the turnip and leek puree also on the website. But that looks outstanding, man. When we come back, we're about to bring the torch back. Stick around.